the only outcome of whatever they're doing in a TV show now kind of is Jessica and Paul, and such boring names.
I know, right?
Jessica.
You're definitely not
Paul.
the first person to say to me, I like the Dune, but his name's Paul.
Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast where we talk about all sorts of geeky things. All sorts of geeky geeky things.
Licorice, all sorts.
Sometimes we know lots about all sorts of stuff, but sometimes our knowledge is a little bit
incomplete.
I'm Nick, that's John,
Hi.
and we would ride your sandworm anywhere. We're going to talk about Dune Prophecy.
Yay!
The new TV show on HBO, and I feel I have to say it Dune.
HBO Max. Or is it HBO Max or is it Max?
I don't think does HBO exist anymore without HBO Max?
Well, the thing is, when we watched it, that first sort of HBO, I was like, Game of Thrones? No, wait, it's not.
But it's still HBO.
It's still HBO.
It's just their streaming service.
The streaming service is called Max.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
But it's still HBO. It's
right.
the same.
Like the production company is still made by HBO,
It's the same people.
Fair enough.
Glad we established that.
Yeah, the very important things right off the bat.
Right off the bat. So, for those who haven't watched, go and watch it.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's available on Sky and Now TV.
On Monday nights, I think?
Yeah, like 2 a.m, just like Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, okay.
Would have been like a Sunday night in the States.
Right.
Monday morning.
Then there will be a repeat later on Monday evening, I think.
Just watch it whenever.
Yeah.
And I've been so excited for the show because when the first film came out, my first reaction to it, I loved it, but I thought, God, I really wish this was a TV show. Because I love
There's so much.
The space politics with kind of magic, but not really, kind of side of it is the kind of sci-fi and fantasy I love, where it's like, don't worry about it kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's so far in the future of our sort of our world that it's considered it's basically science fantasy. Yeah. Basically.
So it was great. The films were great, but I just wished there was a TV show and then ta-da.
Yeah. It's a TV show to sort of explore the world, which I think
what a great fucking idea.
We've had 2 great movies so far. How many movies were released back in this? At least 1. And like it
deserved at least 2.
Was it 2 back in the 70s as well?
Yeah, James McAvoy was in another one, like not the main one.
Right.
Oh my God, weird.
Go ahead.
Patrick Stewart was in the first one.
Was he?
James McAvoy was in another one.
Another
Both
adaptation.
Professor X's.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Fun facts you only hear on Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart was in it. That's how he got Picard. That's his first big screen thing.
Why are we talking about the old films? Doesn't matter. But it's because I don't know anything about it. But my point is that it's been adapted. It's been called one of the greatest sci-fi literature franchises of all time, and yet it just gets adapted into a movie. Maybe or 2 movies. It deserves to be explored in a TV show.
The choice to have it not a kind of adaptation of the books, the TV show, to have it be so the premise is it's set 10,000 years before Paul Atreides is born.
Yeah.
So it's after what is it called? The War of the Machine War or whatever.
The Machine, I forget what it's called, but it is the one where the humans and the different factions of humans go against a war against. Did you know as well? I don't think it's mentioned in the show, but there's like the AI, the thinking machines.
Yeah.
There's also cyborgs as well. I don't know if in the books. So finish what you're saying, and then I'll talk about the books that this show is based on. But what were you saying? There's like 3 factions. They were all at war with each other, and then there's some kind of I'm going to get this wrong. I'm incomplete. Sorry. The cyborgs would try to adapt themselves so that they could control all AI, and they failed. But somehow that enabled the humans to sort of take over the AI, and that helped.
So wait, is it a book?
Okay, so Frank Herbert wrote the original. I think there were 6. Dune books, and they got progressively weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Okay.
That goes from Dune forwards. So
yes.
Paul's kids, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And
even like
I think
20,000 year jump in one of the books as well.
When the grandkid becomes a worm and
becomes like the worm hybrid, whatever.
But going forwards, not like a prequel.
They were all going forwards, and then they kind of there's a really the whole franchise ends with this old man, sort of like as like set aside a different chapter with these two old people in a garden talking about characters that got away, and it's thought that is sort of an allegory for himself and his wife, talking about how the franchise just
got away with him,
from him, kind of thing. But he did sort of feel like it came to a close, and sort of like a complete sort of story arc. And he said what he wanted to say, compared to like Douglas Adams, who kind of just ended it and then didn't actually mean that to be the ending. But then he passed away, sadly, with his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy franchise.
Got it.
So then his children, I think he had. One of his children. He had some of his children kind of continued his work by expanding on the universe, but they went backwards in time. I think it's a series of 3 books, but I forget what the series is called. But the first one is called Sisterhood of Dune, and that was written by one of Frank Herbert's children, and that's what it's still considered sort of canon, but it's understood to be sort of adaptations of the original work, if that makes sense. Because they're expanding on the universe but going backwards in time. So sort of the prequels to it. So if you looked up Sisterhood of Dune, that's the first of the 3 books that in the series that this particular TV show is based on. Comprende?
Shut up.
You didn't know that? Okay, so that's
no.
Fine.
So here I
didn't know that either.
I was about to go off and like, I'm so glad it's not a direct adaptation from a book because it gives them more freedom to go through things. Turns out...
I mean, they still could have freedom to change all the shit they wanted to.
Is it a direct adaptation of this?
I do not know. I've never read it.
Sisterhood by Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson.
Yeah. So I think my partner Tom, he has read all the original 6. He couldn't remember if he read this particular one because he's read a couple of the extra ones, but there's a lot. So watching it with him, it was like he knew some of what was going on because he's read about it, but there's some things that I was completely lost, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't blame you. There's a lot going on."
Interesting. Well, that shit's all over my story. Never mind then.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode,
well, we're working on it. Bye. Okay. Well, that's.
Sorry.
No, that's. But like, I don't mind. It's like with Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna read the books because I love the TV show, and I don't want a book to ruin the TV show. And the books may be like weird 70s, 80s shit.
It might. I don't know when these sequel prequels were written.
I had the page right up. Why didn't I look at the
just
date?
Look it up. It's fine.
I can't be bothered.
But the original ones were definitely set in the 70s, and that kind of
came out in the 60s. The first ones, didn't it? Came out before Star Wars, which is the point that it's the desert alien planet with worms that eat you. Before Star Wars did.
That's a good point. Yeah. I don't remember exactly the exact times. So the reason I don't want to read the books is because A, there's a lot of effort.
Yeah, fuck effort.
And B, I don't want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
exactly. I'd rather watch the show. And at the time of recording, we've found only 1 episode so far. And I don't want to there's a couple things that happen in the first episode that I'm like, what? What the fuck? We could talk about that. But then Tom was like, I kind of know what's happening, but we'll wait until it's explained further in the TV show, which I think is great because your TV show should be your adaptation that should exist in its own world without having to sort of say, oh, well, in the book, what's happening is they don't say it in the TV show, but the reason he does that is, no, I don't want any of that. I want to watch the TV show as its own entity.
Yeah.
The end.
I don't want it. And it was kind of fun at the beginning of House of the Dragon to know what happens, but it's also a bit of a bummer because there's no surprise or nothing fun coming. So
at least with House of the Dragon, you might know the overarching sort of story, but there's details that you will never
Whereas
know.
I'm sure they would go on.
Because that's the kind of the book that it's based on. It's not meant to be a detailed kind of thing. Yeah. So let's talk about what happens in the episode.
I don't remember anything that happens in the episode.
So, like typical, it'll just me trying to recount everything that TV show that I watched a few days ago.
So there were women.
There's worms. Oh, very, very female led, which I really love.
Written, produced, and directed. I think all by women.
Was it?
Yeah. That's why it felt different and awesome and brilliant.
I saw the written and directed.
Okay, well, I'll take 2 out of 3.
I'm saying you're wrong. I just don't remember it.
Probably.
And of course, you can't assume genders by names nowadays anyway.
True, but you also kind of can. So yes, so female focused, and that's obviously a big win in my book.
100%. And the two main characters are these two sisters, and
are they sisters?
Yes.
Well, they're sisters. Sisterhood.
They're sisters.
They're not biological,
but they are sisters. They're both Harkonnens. Valia and Tula. They're both Harkonnens, and I think
this is how little attention I pay. This is why I can rewatch things over and over and enjoy them more. See our previous episode.
Very good. See our previous episode number 73. Was it 73?
No, it was 78.
Damn it! I tried. Ooh. Anyway.
Okay, so they're sisters. That's cool. Harkonnen.
I only know that because I saw like a blurb before I watched the show. It's like Emily Mortimer and Olivia Williams, who are both fantastic. Love them
actresses.
both.
Oh my god,
they're Harkonnen sisters who are leading this order of sisters who are not quite the Bene Gesserit, but the story's about.
But they're gonna be
how the Bene Gesserit sort of is developed. What's the word? Created.
Because they're already established. So we have a little kind of Galadriel style voiceover telling us about the machine war, which I love. That's my favorite fucking thing. I love a story like that.
I love the story. I don't like the narration.
Oh, I love it. No, I love it. So that's fine.
It's a storytelling trope.
I love
it's a device that can be overused, but it's fine.
It can be overused, but it makes it feel like mystically story.
Years ago.
Oh, I love it.
When the Rhoynar first came to Dorne.
All of this. I love that shit. So, can't please everyone, eh? I think that's the lesson we're learning.
The thing is, there's a lot of backstory to catch the viewers up on, so I suppose it's fine.
Because that very important backstory about the whole machine war, we should get the name right, but whatever. I didn't know about when I watched the first film. I didn't realize that was the whole premise of this entire universe, because they didn't do the Galadriel style story at the beginning of the films, which, fine, it doesn't necessarily have to, but I feel like that is such an interesting part of it, the world building of it.
Yep.
So I think it had to be done at least one point, and if we're going to spend a lot of time around this time, because it's only 100 years after the war's finished, something like that.
Yeah.
Something close enough. So not 10,000 years. So it really affects their everyday decisions and things like that. So I love that.
Yep.
You didn't. We move on.
Just the device, the narrative device of narration.
Love it. So they're already kind of established. Like there's already a sisterhood, and she's what's her name?
Valia.
Sure. So they're already part of it, and then that old chick died. This is how good I am at this. Didn't prepare any notes. Didn't think to take note of any characters' names.
Thanks for listening.
So the old chick dies.
The original's Mother Superior.
Sure. Mother Superior?
Is that what they called her?
That's Catholicism.
But they use this. I mean, they're called sisters.
Mother. You. Is
it not Mother Superior? Okay, so I'll recount. So we have Valia and her sister Tula, who are both Harkonnens. They both left. Oh, before we get to that, so the end of the very important thing.
This is all over the place, this episode. Good luck keeping up.
So the reason she abandons the Harkonnen homeworld and searches out for this other planet where they have this sisterhood is because she's unhappy with how the war ended. Basically, the Atreides branded the Harkonnens as cowards for abandoning something in the war, which I don't want to give too much away, but I don't think that's entirely true. And
Reverend Mother.
Which
is also a Christian thing, but not exactly the same. Yes.
Well, it was the
probably was
the religion of the world back in the 70s, so no one 60s. Else had any other 60s. So that might not be true. I don't know if it might be explored further in the backstory of the TV show, if that has anything to do with it. But there's some sort of betrayal happening, perhaps, between the Atreides and the Harkonnen.
Oh, yes, because they were branded as cowards, ran off and that sort of
but that may not be.
But is it true? Is it just a story? That sort of stuff.
Exactly, because I don't think it's giving anything away by saying that, because in the narration she does say what has more truth, history or prophecy.
I love it,
because she's saying, is history actually true? And I'm trying to relate that to nowadays. Obviously, we don't really sort of rely on prophecies, but we have predictions and we have history being rewritten. And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, people say that, history is fact and they'll look at the facts, but up until, I don't know,
we're gonna revise things.
50-something years ago, the history was not reliable resource.
It wasn't.
It's written by the people who had access, the people who won, and the people who could write, hundreds of years ago.
America wasn't founded on a business of slavery. Of course not.
Jeez, guys.
Stuff like that. It's like, we can't teach our kids that. Whatever.
So fun to have that kind of little political message in there.
Yeah. So she's upset with how the Harkonnens kind of just bended over. How they kind of just bent over and sort of took it and giggity, and are sort of relegated to this homeworld. She and her sister leave to find the sisterhood. The Reverend Mother is about to die and sort of relies on Valia to carry on her vision.
Yeah.
In her dying moments.
Yeah.
Which means her granddaughter, I think, who is kind of, I get the sense is trying to be the next Reverend Mother, is like, doesn't trust Valia because she's like, this hope of my grandmother's is wrong. We can't do this. It's against the natural order of things or whatever.
Even though that's exactly what her grandma said she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's where we get the first instance of a Bene Gesserit using the voice.
The voice. Yeah. So that has not been. That was not the first time it's ever been used. Because she says, I've been practicing developing this technique.
So it must have been used before, just not common practice at that point,
or maybe not that strong. So I think. So,
I love it.
So tell me if I'm wrong. Which, if you
I don't fucking know,
like, I know, but I think that this whole order of this sisterhood is meant to be just trying to tap into to biological things or mental things.
It was okay. Again, dear listeners, please correct us if we're wrong, because we're gonna be. So so at this point,
stop shouting at the microphone.
Just scream like, "Oh my god, you guys are idiots!" You can put it in the comments on Spotify. Just put a comment and say, "Mate, just do it now."
Correct us. It's fine.
We'd love that. Because obviously, no robots, so they're starting to kind of replace the stuff that the AI would do with humans or whatever, humanoids people. In different ways. So you got like the mentats and that sort of stuff eventually will kind of come from that.
The mentats are the ones who sort of compute things in their head really fast.
And then you got the space fish people as well eventually become there who drive the space planes.
How do you know this?
I don't fucking know. And then obviously the Bene Gesserit advisors, because they can see when people are lying. So these are all kinds of things that technology could or would have done a few generations ago, but now it's really important that they replace these kind of functions or abilities with human people who can do it. And I'm guessing the sisterhood fill that kind of gap. What they're not supposed to be doing is genetic selection. What's that thing called? With the
biology?
No.
Genome?
The things that the Nazis wanted to do.
Like genetic engineering?
No.
Eugenics?
Eugenics!
Oh, it is eugenics. Okay.
Yes.
I was
eugenics. Again, I should have taken notes.
Why are we laughing about eugenics? That's weird.
It's fine. So they weren't supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to be just like advising the men.
Yes.
And that sort of stuff.
Well,
is it
advising the leaders?
Okay, but that's something I did notice because obviously all the sisterhood are all women, but all the leaders are men. Still, it feels kind of Game of Thronesy in that they're still all men. And I'm trying to think again. Didn't read the books. There's no leaders where it's a female leader. That is obviously a big point of it. They're trying to get
a female
empress into the position, because even though this is fucking millennia ahead, it still seems that men are the ones in power and they have a woman just advising them and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if there's any sort of
which pisses me off, but in a good way. Because it's supposed to piss you off.
It makes you want the change.
Rooting for them.
Because then you have basically the men who are in power and their wives who are just sort of, I don't know, childbearers. That's what their role.
Yeah. Although was she chosen for? Maybe they were genetically selected. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So we've got the Mark Strong, his character's name, who is the current emperor of the galaxy.
Well, no,
of the alliance.
He's got Sand Planet.
So he's currently in control of Arrakis, the Sand Planet. I think it's okay. That's what I'm here for. I think his name is Carino.
Because it's not Atreides. Those are the only two names I recognize. It's not Harkonnen or Atreides, so it's a different family that's in charge of it.
They mention Atreides, but I don't...
Yeah, because they were around at the time, but they don't have...
I don't think they're in the episode, though.
Yeah, no. As far as I remember.
Of the royal houses or whatever. But think about these are planets. How come there's only one royal house for the whole planet?
What would ours be?
There's like different UNs.
Can you imagine, like, Earth? It's like, who is the one ruler?
Who's the emperor of Earth?
The one ruling family.
It'll probably be a Chinese name.
I probably should be. Quite frankly, don't trust the rest of us. We're all idiots.
I mean, I don't know who I trust nowadays, but it's not going to be an English name, probably.
No.
Emperor, the UN ambassador. Can I have Shore Agdashlu, please, as the UN ambassador forever and ever? It's a reference to The Expanse, if you're listening. Anyway, so would you type in Emperor of Earth?
No, houses. I wanted to see if they have the houses and list of the things. So
they got Carino. I think it's Carino. Well, by the way, Carino is that's the house that Christopher Walken is in the second Dune film. He's a Carino, and then the daughter, who is Florence Pugh, is also a Carino.
Oh,
so they're kind of like the ruling house.
Princess Allura.
Yes, I didn't remember her name, so there you go. So he's arranging a wedding between his daughter.
Carino is Mark Strong, then.
Oh, good. Yes, I was right.
Well done.
And then his daughter and the son of another house, whose name escapes me.
I did notice they called things jihad, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, so jihad is one of the wars in another sort of book.
Yeah.
Another prequel book.
It doesn't give me many other names. It just goes Atreides, Harkonnen. You suck.
Well, you got clickbaited to that.
God damn it. I fell for it.
So the young boy who's called... What's his name again?
What, the little twerp?
Ugh.
I really hope he dies.
But the point is that there's arranged marriage, so they're going to set up the arranged marriage with this pomegranate, sort of symbolic pomegranate, I suppose, which appears in the dream. That.
Do you think that's like a reference to Hades? Because that's why Persephone stays in the underworld, because she ate a single pomegranate. That was the rule. She can't eat or drink anything in the underworld.
She ate 4 seeds, which means that 4 months out of the year, she has to sort of let the world descend into winter.
Cute.
And then further north in the world, then the story becomes 6 pomegranates because their winters are longer.
Hell yeah!
So anyway,
House Carino has held the throne of the Dune universe for as many as 10,000 years.
Okay.
They are the faces of rulership, governmental order across the various planets and great houses. As the most elite and respected great house in the known universe, as created by Frank Capaldi, the Carinos were thought to be impossible to take power away from. This is why the rise of Paul Atreides becomes such a prophetic event in the Dune films. Which makes sense if Princess Allura is a Carino.
There's still Carinos, yeah.
They still hold it another 10,000 years, I think.
It's quite interesting how Mark Strong's character, then, the current emperor, he seems really... I can't tell if he looks worried
stressed.
About something. Yeah,
he looks really stressed.
He does that very well, and he's a great actor as well.
He is a great actor. I really like his performance in it.
But is he being controlled by someone or something, or is he weak? Is he sort of just worried about some prophecy that's going to befall him or something? Because he sort of brushes past the thinking machine toy at that ceremony.
Yeah, everyone else seems a lot more pissed off than he does about that.
It's been 100 years, mate, after this war. Don't you know that history repeats itself?
Yeah.
Anyway, he seemed really chill about that, or really sort of ready to brush it off.
Overwhelmed by everything. He didn't want that marriage. So the arranged marriage between whoever this twerp is and his daughter, who is cool as fuck, and who's going to go into the sisterhood to become a... They're not using Bene Gesserit at the time.
I don't think they said it.
They're just sisterhood, with the plans to put her on the throne as the first empress.
So who's got the plan? It's very clear that the sisterhood wants her to be the empress.
Yes.
But does the family want her to be empress?
No, because he has a Bene Gesserit advisor. Mm-hmm. They're obviously already started manipulating things to get a woman. So when Valia took over, she started manipulating from then, and
So then, who's the heir? Then is it the prince? They call it the prince, but I think the very first time you see this prince show up, someone mentioned that he's the half brother or half sister. Who are you talking about? The good looking one who's kind of smarmy and
her brother.
Is that her brother then?
Yes, her younger brother.
I feel like, younger brother, interesting. So I feel like they said the word half brother at some point as well.
I don't think so. He is smoking hot.
He's very pretty.
Smoking hot. Thank you, HBO. Well done.
But do you know who I prefer?
Her bodyguard.
The trainer. Yeah, of course, obviously.
Boring.
No, he's boring.
He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous, beautiful. Yeah.
He ain't no Pedro Pascal. I want someone a little bit more spicy than.
That's fine. I'll take my Celtic sounding bodyguards.
Oh God, I have no idea. We're all over the place. What are we talking about?
So we're talking about the Carinos at the moment. I don't know what's happening.
Mark Strong being stretched. He's clearly being manipulated into this, saying it's a good idea for this little twerp to marry your daughter because the Bene Gesserit because he's clearly going to be useless, easily manipulated, or maybe die, so that she'll be in power, and she'll be trained as a Bene Gesserit, and she'll be in power.
Yes, but why is because she's older, so she's not the heiress. How does it work in this world? Is it meant to pass on to the younger brother then because he's male? Assuming it's hereditary.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out, because it's very obviously politically planned. We'll find out very soon. It doesn't seem like it. They don't seem to be making much of a fuss over him.
No, it's just
they're letting him do his own sexy stuff.
Yeah, I suppose it's just this wedding.
She's more important as long as she is married and can carry on the line. Don't know. We'll find out.
Suppose.
What's important is she is badass. Her brother is hot. And they go out drinking or doing coke for their last night after she gets married, and some gas
drugs. I'm down with that.
Yeah, and then she smashes your Celtic boy,
the bodyguard. Yeah, which I approve of. Sexy drugs.
Do we see any tits?
I did not see any tits.
I didn't see any tits.
No,
and it was still sexy, right?
And no,
we don't have to see any.
It was very sexy.
Very sexy.
I'm not often turned on by fictional sex scenes, especially hetero ones, but that was very hot.
Again, written, directed by women, so a very different vibe from sex scenes that are written, directed by men. The tits would be out.
Tits would be out.
Game of Thrones, he'd be raping her and her boobs be out. And
that's such a good point. Oh my God, this is why we have this podcast, because I would never have thought of that. If it's directed by a man or written by a man, it's the power. What's it called?
Dynamic,
yes. The power dynamic. God, we're so good.
Yeah.
The power dynamic is so different because it's basically the man of this hetero relationship, hetero coupling, it's about taking over the women or and it's very rare, or I don't know. It's like the point when the woman's like, no, let me do it. And it's like, ooh, that's so different and unique. Yeah. Like, actually, no. It's this particular scene in this show written by a woman.
I really hope it's written by a woman.
I was going to say.
I'm just going to check. I'm just going to check. Oh.
I'll keep going on the.
If it is written by a woman, I hope it is.
The dynamic is, it's almost like he doesn't want to because he's not sure, which is understandable because he's like, doesn't he work? She's the fucking princess. Like, you don't sort of assume that you can sort of jump on that. But it's more.
No, she's also, was she married at that point?
Oh,
or
also
engaged?
She's engaged.
You are not allowed to jump on that, my friend.
That's true. So it's like, but she is the one kind of in control. She instigates it. She's
director Anna Foster.
Yes, I do remember.
Writers Diane Adamu-John, Alison Schapker, and Brian Herbert.
Yep. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Good.
So that's
lovely. Good. That's interesting.
Okay, thank God.
More sex scenes written by women, please.
I love it. When House of the Dragon, when you had the sex scenes in season 1 directed by women, you can see a mile away. It's so different because it's not about getting tits and bush out. It's about stealing moments or power plays or all that kind of stuff. It's really sensual and hot. So I hope we have more of that, and I hope that's the theme. And I love the fact that it's written and directed predominantly by women, because this is their fucking story.
Yeah,
it would just feel very disingenuous to have male writers at the heart of this story about women who are like, we can't trust men to do this. Let's sort everything. It would be so
the backlash if it was like, we're gonna make this.
It would be so messy. So I'm really excited to see. I have no real expectations apart from I wanted it to look beautiful, and I wanted the actors to be fucking incredible, and I wanted some sexy stuff. And I've got all three.
You got all those, yeah.
Already. So I feel fairly confident that this will do what you want. I don't know anything about the story. we know 10,000 years later, but I don't even know that they were both Harkonnens, for Christ's sake. So it clearly doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I just want more of intrigue because it's and backstabbing and manipulating. But what the fuck happens at the end?
What the fuck happened at the end? Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the whole distance between now and the Dune films is all you have, the connection is just the name. It's just the name. These people are not going to affect the characters from the show are not going to affect the characters from the film in any way whatsoever. But you know the link because you know the sort of destiny of these houses, I suppose.
The only outcome of whatever they're doing in a TV show now kind of is Jessica and Paul, and such boring names.
I know, right?
Jessica.
You're definitely not the first person to say to me, "I like the Dune, but his name's Paul." Like they couldn't think of a different name than just Paul.
But yeah, the only kind of connect, like you said, the outcome of what they're doing is that she will be born and she will have Paul, and that's it.
Yeah.
But every other thing they do in the build up to it, we have no idea.
No idea
what. It's so lost to history, that sort of stuff. So hopefully they have, well, again, if it's a book, I didn't even realize it was a book, but they can take some creative liberties and make just a really good, intriguing, fun show.
Which I think is exactly why I love a show like House of the Dragon. Yes, even season 2, haters. It was fine. It was good. It wasn't as great as it could have been, yes, but it was so good.
Episode 5 was sensational. But anyway, this is not a Game of Thrones episode.
But because you're there for the journey, you're there for the story. You want to see these events unfold. You want to see how people react to these events unfolding, and that's why we watch it.
I want them put in moral, ethical dilemmas. I want them to manipulate
choices
and twists. And it's like, turns out it was her all along. I love this shit, and I feel like there's no, apart from budget, there's no real limit to what they can do and how long they can do this for, because do what you want. These actors are amazing.
I mean, stunning. I really didn't know. I didn't hear of any sort of buzz up until...
Not really, no.
No. And I don't know if that's because of me not paying attention, which is probably true. But also, I don't know.
Gladiator and Wicked coming out at the same time. It's just the hype isn't about a HBO TV show.
True.
Dune had its time to kind of do its big release. Was that this year? Was 2 this year?
No, I think it was last year, because it definitely was.
It was a long time ago.
Last year. Side note.
Yes, it probably would have been.
Side note, Gladiator 2, not worth it.
I'm going on Sunday, but I'm going for free, so it's fine.
That's fine. My ticket was discounted as well.
I have no expectations. I'm there for vibes and men in skirt.
You will definitely get men's skirts and shirtless
some titties.
Tops.
Great.
Lots of men titties.
Great, that's all I'm there for. I don't really care.
She's very pretty.
I didn't like the first film. I thought the first film was garbage. People loved it. Great if you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So maybe the big Wicked Gladiator hype, that's what, if anyone's talking about, is that, which is fun. It's only going to be a few episodes. It'll be, 6 or 8 episodes
I literally have no idea how many episodes it's going to be, which is great.
I'm not even going to look. You know At this stage, I'm not even going to look. I want them to...
I will look. I want to know when the finale is. Yeah. But if you don't want to know, I won't tell you.
No, I'm sure we'll have to cover it.
Let's talk about the ending.
I want to know. Yeah, I want to talk about the ending, because I don't have a fucking clue what happened.
And the Travis Fimmel character.
Oh, Travis Fimmel. Now,
where do you want to start?
I want to start with Travis Fimmel.
Okay, Travis.
Because do you remember Travis? Do you remember him in the 90s?
No.
He was a Calvin Klein model.
No.
Long blonde hair with jeans and that sort of stuff. And he was the hottest, sexiest 90s ever. And then it was very exciting when he did the Vikings thing. I'm like, ooh, Vikings, what I turn on. Ooh, it's the Calvin Klein model. Or whatever jeans
was
model.
He the Sons of Anarchy guy as well?
No. That's Charlie Hunnam.
They were both in something together as well.
I think so.
Was it Warcraft or something?
Something shit.
Anyway, Travis Fimmel. But
this guy, Travis Fimmel, is Australian. Why is he always doing this weird stunted Scandinavian accent?
What is this accent?
Because after...
I'm glad this is the first thing you brought up.
After Vikings, accents, I can't get past a bad accent.
I just don't know what this is.
If you're doing an accent and you can't do it while you're doing it. Because that shitty HBO show that Ripley, whatever thing he made, The Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
Ugh, what a sack of crap that was.
I didn't watch that one.
Ugh, that's gross sci-fi. It was just too sci-fi for me.
Okay.
It was like, again, he was some weird Danish accents. Like, you're Australian. What's going on? Why are you doing this?
I think that, you know what? I probably have told you how I feel about accents, because as an actor,
If you can't do
nowadays, there should be no real excuse why you can't nail an accent if you're given the right coaching, the right sort of, if you're given enough time to prepare. Like, not every accent is going to be easy for everybody. I know accents that I don't know would do very well.
But also, why?
But I wouldn't go into a big TV show and say I can do Australian or I can do sort of.
But also, that's
Yorkshire.
On
I don't know.
The casting director and
the director, and the voice coach
to be like, well, we need a whatever. They don't need. They could be any accent they want. It doesn't matter.
True. Yeah.
But if it's important that he's
fucking
English,
10,000 years in the future.
If it's important that he's space British, which, let's face it, they should all be space British. You can't be space American because then you're a cowboy.
That's weird. Yeah.
Because then you're Star Wars.
Then you're Star
Wars.
If you're
space British.
Or you're Lin-Manuel Miranda in his Dark Materials. Did you watch that one?
Ugh.
Anyway. I fucking love. I love the character. I love Lin-Manuel. I do not think he was right for that role. But anyway.
Yeah. So if you have to be space British, why did they not hire someone who could do a space British accent? Why did they hire this worn down old Viking guy who can't do a Viking accent?
Is it because
it blows my mind?
Does he have like a contract with HBO maybe or something? Like, I don't dislike his acting. I just don't know what he's doing his acting. With his
it is
accent.
It looks like he's drunk the whole time.
But
he's confused. You know what's going on? Unless that's his character. Do you think that's his character?
I thought those were choices, acting choices.
I just thought it was
his sort of weird twitchiness of the eyes. He's something's going on with his character, and I don't know what it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening. But he's supposedly the only survivor from this attack on Arrakis.
Oh my god, he's clearly off his face on spice, and then or
something. Yeah,
he was drugged up, and now he's in, and that's why he seems like he's a heroin addict on the come down because he's that. Oh, well done. I take it back, Travis.
Okay. But I mean, the thing is, if you make that your acting choice, you have to be consistent with it. And he's not subbed up yet, so I'm like, okay, it's weird, but I get it. But why the accent? I don't know. Is it meant to be like an Arrakis accent? I don't know. Because he's from a different planet? Who knows? Here's my question.
Is he real?
Is he real?
Because he got eaten by a worm in the video footage.
Okay, that was literally that was what my question was going to be. What the fuck is this video footage? What is it?
I don't know.
Who left it on Mark Strong's Emperor Carino's desk to him open up and just pop it in? It's like coming home and they see like a VHS on your table, like, oh, what's this? I'll just put it in and see this weird security footage of a man crawling out of the sand and being eaten by a worm.
Obviously it's to be like, this guy isn't who he says he is, So someone on the inside knows.
I didn't even get that. Was the implication was that he was eaten?
Yes, and so whoever Travis Fimmel is pretending to be this other guy, like a shapeshifter or something.
Maybe it could be shapeshifter.
Do they have shapeshifters in the Dune universe? Let's find out. Stay tuned.
Write in. Don't write in. Don't spoil it. If you do write in, let us know if we're stupid about the first episode, but also don't spoil anything.
Tell us we're stupid. That's fine.
Interesting. There might be shapeshifters.
That's what I thought. However, it's easier to fake a CCTV footage than a whole person.
Or maybe he survived that being eaten somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then he kills the little kid.
He kills the little kid and somehow telepathically also kills is it Kasha or Kesha?
Kesha. I feel it was more like Kesha because I'm like, Kesha? Don't stop.
I thought it was Kasha because I thought I was like, that's weird to give this East Asian looking person a Polish name.
Oh, true. I didn't see, but these are cool space names.
Yeah, fine.
Not Paul. Anyway,
Paul. And his name Desmond as well. Is it Desmond? Yeah. Anyway,
who's Desmond?
Travis Fimmel's character is called Desmond.
Shut up.
Isn't it Desmond?
Yes, you're right. I think it is.
Right.
I think we just looked at that. So he kills this guy. So what does he like? No, he doesn't telepathically kill her. It must be some sort of poison or something that was around her, and like she crossed contact because she was there before and then she left.
But she didn't. She never saw the boy. Kasha never saw the boy.
Did she?
I don't believe so. Because she's like, I won't be here for the
wedding.
No, she said I won't be here for the ceremony. But I'll be back
it was
for
an
the
engagement because it wasn't a wedding. It was. That's why she banged her bodyguard because he wasn't actually married yet.
Because she was like, at this time in 2 days I'll be a married woman.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, we're losing track of things.
That's okay. That's why we discuss it on air.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'm excited. Again, I'm sad because she was brilliant.
I liked her, yeah.
Badass, and now she's died horribly.
But then she I think
good impact.
She had this kind of dream, which may or may not have been a prophecy
herself.
Yeah. And now she can't share that with anybody. Or whatever details she shared with Valia and Tula, it's like, so the things that she saw, she'll never be able to know if they are...
Which was like a worm attacking her.
Pass. Worm attacking her.
Like Travis Fimmel.
The pomegranate with the worms in it. I remember that distinctly. Yeah, and Travis Fimmel. And it was like the princess upside down. You did this.
Fun. I'm excited. It's another little week by week mystery.
I know. And for me, I was like, watching this episode, going along with the story, like, yeah, I kind of understand what's going on. We're setting up, we're establishing the world, building the world. Oh, he's got telepathic burn skin powers. Okay, that's completely out of left field. No idea what's going on. And then Tom was like, I think I know what's happening, but I won't say anything.
Good. Like, okay, don't tell us. Let's find out. I don't think it's telepathic skin burning. I think it's something, a step or a person or a unifying thing that we don't see or we've missed, which is fun.
And it's meant to be. It's implied that it's happened at the same time as well. It's hard to know. I'm looking forward to seeing that explanation.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Again, kind of like with Agatha, I have no expectations of what I want from this show. I just want it to be good, and it's already good. It's like, just carry on doing that.
Is that the main message we're getting across about TV shows nowadays? Is like, just watch it and don't have expectations.
It's a huge part of it, especially with me. I mean, with Gladiator, it's going to be another thing. If you go in, Wicked, again, I'm going to see that. If you go in expecting it to be perfect, expecting big, huge things, more often than not, it won't live up to your fantasy. Endgame did, and that's why everything after that pisses us off.
True, yeah.
So if you go in just only expecting people to do good work, they don't always.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more fun. And then that I have no ideas of, because it's not a comic book. I'm like, do whatever you want. I don't know. It's nice to just watch a show.
It's easier to be there for the story, for the characters.
It's not House of the Dragon where I know what the ending is. It's not comic book movies and things like that where I know what the ending should be. It's just go tell a story that I don't know and do it the way that suits your medium rather than the book or whatever like that. Yeah. So yes, expectations are a big part of it.
I'm sure there are people who have read The Sisterhood of Dune and the other two books in the trilogy, and they're gonna know, like, oh well, she'll do this eventually, and then this person will die, whatever.
If you've read it, would you like to be on the podcast and talk to us about it? We'd love once the season's finished.
Maybe when the series is finished, yeah.
There's only going to be a few episodes, so it'll only be in a few weeks. And by the time we
get in touch.
Get in touch and tell us what. Actually,
don't tell us stuff. Tell us stuff to make us excited about it.
Yeah, I don't know. But get in touch. We'd love to speak to you more if there's anyone else who's read that or any of the Dune books. I would love to do an episode about the Dune
with like the original Dune books.
Yes.
Okay. Not very gay though.
We can find something gay. No, but we're gay.
Excuse me?
That's the point.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah.
Do get in touch with us. You can email us at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com. You can also get in touch via Instagram and TikTok. We're both on there. Our handles are @incompletegeeks. While you're there, give us a like, follow us every little bit. Tell your friends about us. It helps us with this show. While you're here, give this episode a 5-star rating. It really does help us out, get the word out. Also, if you want to support us other ways, we have a Patreon now. We don't read ads on this show, but if you want to give us like $1 a month, that is a wonderful help. If you can't, go on there and sign up. You'll still be part of the community. The Patreon there is patreon.com/gaygeeks. Yes, we are the only ones in the world who
on Patreon we're the premium gay geeks. Yeah, on Patreon.
That's true. At this point, we're just setting up, so we're still establishing tiers, but we will get in there. But do get in there early, so you can do stuff like tell us what episodes you want to hear.
Yes,
we've got polls coming. We've got special content like videos, comic book reads. We'll do some written stuff, and so
all sorts of nerdy watch-alongs, hangouts, anything you want to like tell us what to do.
An easy way to get in touch with us, basically.
So yeah, and comment as well. Anything we've got wrong,
everything we did get wrong.
I got a lot wrong, but you know
things we might have missed, details.
We're not complete geeks.
No, but we are working on it.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye. Don't turn me down. I have really good offers.
Don't turn me down.
Don't turn me down. Whoop.